What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the channel. We're going to be doing a reaction today of the 10 dirt bikes so dangerous they should have been banned. Now, this is dirt bikes, and God only knows how far back they're going to be going. Probably going to have some 500s in here. We all know about the KX and the CR500, the KTM 490, the YZ 490. I mean, yeah, there was quite a few big bore bikes that were gnarly bikes back in the day. So let's see what we've got to look at. We don't normally do reactions. We do some reactions on this channel because extra content. We are doing a lot of stuff in the shop. A lot of the stuff does not get recorded. Sometimes when people come over and ride, we get some extra videos. That's been some of the ride videos that we've got going on now. So hit that subscribe button. We've got memberships available, so you got early access to content, discounts on parts, and access to me and my brain and anything you need when it comes to builds and knowledge on how to build stuff. We do custom builds, quads, three-wheelers, and three-wheeler conversions. Dirt bikes to three-wheelers, quads to three-wheelers, all kinds of different stuff. Lots of custom work, custom front ends. I do invert front ends for anything. I'll lift your big red, all that kind of stuff. We've got lifted big reds on the pages. We've got over 1,400 videos on the channel. Check out the channel, go through it. Let's see what this video is all about now.
Out on the trail, every rider has a story. Some bikes made us heroes. Others nearly killed us trying. Before traction control and fancy fuel maps, there was a wilder age when engineers chased horsepower like mad scientists and riders were the test dummies. They promised power, speed, and glory. What we got instead were bruises, broken levers, and a few lessons in humility. These were the machines that tried too hard, burned too hot, or simply
Did you see that? Harley Davidson did make a dirt bike.
These were the machines that...
Look at that. That is an old vintage Harley dirt bike. They were in the dirt bike industry. Those things are so cool.
Tried too hard, burned too hot, or simply weren't ready for the real world. Today, we're dusting off the legends everyone loves to hate. The misfires, the monsters,
480,
the bikes that gave ride at your own risk
or a
whole new meaning. So kick back,
KTM.
Hold on tight. This is the 10 most hated dirt bikes ever built. 1973 Harley Davidson Baja 100. Back in the early 70s, America had dirt in its veins. Every weekend, pickups rolled out with Hondas, Yamahas, and Suzukis strapped in back. Light, fast, two-stroke rockets made to fly. And then, Harley Davidson decided to join the fun. The same company that built the rumbling Electra Glide thought they could build a trail bike too. They called it the Baja 100.
Look at that. The brake and the sprocket are on the same side. Similar to ATK. It's a backwards bike, but it's a cool bike. It's only a 100cc two-stroke. It's an old bike, but it'd be fun to ride.
Proudly American-made, though it was really an Italian-built Aermacchi with Harley stickers. A tiny 9...
What? Oh, that's cheating. I thought Harley built the motor.
8 cubic centimeter two-stroke, 5-speed, kickstart only. Twin shocks, steel frame, 10 horses on a good day, and nearly 200 pounds to haul around. On paper,
Harleys are notorious for being heavy. It doesn't matter what they build, it's gonna be heavy.
It sounded plucky. On the trail, it was a joke. Riders said you could kick it 10 times and still be late for dinner. The clutch slipped, the gearbox cried, and the motor wheezed halfway up a hill before giving up entirely. Cycle World called it forgettable. Riders called it a cruel prank. And within a year, Harley quietly packed its bags and left the dirt to the Japanese. Today, that little Baja 100 has become a rare sight, a quirky collectible for die-hard Harley fans. If you find one with the original decals intact, expect to pay around $4,000 to $6,000. Proof that even bad ideas can get
I have a feeling those prices are a lot higher nowadays.
Nostalgic with age. 1974, Suzuki TM400 Cyclone. If the Harley Baja was a gentle embarrassment, Suzuki's next act was pure overkill. The year was 1974, and the 400cc motocross class was the main event, the arena where men...
I've got a 75 MX400 Yamaha in the shop at this point. Tony's parting it out, but I want to get the motor and see what's going on in the motor, because that's an old 400 two-stroke. Oh, yeah. Put that thing in a go-kart.
Scores in horsepower and pain. Yamaha had the edge, and Suzuki wanted it back the hard way. More power, less mercy. The result was the TM400 Cyclone, a 396 cubic centimeter two-stroke rocket that pumped out over 40 horsepower while weighing barely 220 pounds.
Nice.
On paper, that was thrilling. In the saddle, it was terrifying. The power band hit like a stick of dynamite, smooth 1 second, then full detonation the next. The short suspension and spindly frame couldn't keep up. It bucked, twisted, and threw riders like a rodeo bull.
They didn't get into suspension until the 80s. Anything pre-80s, the suspension is horrible. But my God, the engines that they built, the air-cooled engines were just absolute monsters.
Magazine said it best. It runs calm for 5 seconds, then tries to kill you. Starting it was a battle. Keeping it running was worse. Many racers, even seasoned pros, refused to ride it after a single lap. The name stuck, the Widowmaker. A bike so vicious, it became a cautionary tale for an entire generation of MX engineers. Today, collectors hunt them for the legend, not the ride. A well-restored TM400, original plastics, factory yellow, will fetch $6,000 to $9,000. Proof that fear itself can become collectible. 1979, Yamaha YZ490. After the TM400 scared half the...
We're putting those engines in the Tri-Z chassis. And 490 three-wheelers.
Across world into early retirement, you'd think manufacturers might slow down a little. Not Yamaha. By the late 70s, they were leading the 500cc MX class, and they wanted to keep that crown, even if it meant building a bike that fought back. Enter the YZ490, a 487 cubic centimeter air-cooled two-stroke brute.
That's a liquid-cooled engine. You AI people need to get your pictures correct. Holy cow, that's horrible.
Making around 52 horsepower, packed into a steel frame with big 43mm forks and a carb the size of a soda can.
Oh, yeah.
It looked every bit the champion's tool, until you kicked it to life. Riders joked that one good kick could break your leg, and they weren't far off. The engine pinged like a church bell. The vibration blurred your vision, and mid-range power was so uneven, it felt like the throttle had moods of its own.
There's a meme of Brian Raffa doing a wheelie and it just coming out from underneath him on a YZ490. Yep. Oh, man. Funny meme. But yeah, these things, gnarly bikes.
It opened, and the front wheel leapt skyward whether you wanted it to or not.
Yep.
At first, magazines praised its muscle, until they tried racing it. Reviews quickly shifted from fast to fatiguing. The Ping King, they called it, a bike that punished as much as it thrilled.
Yep.
Still, nostalgia has a way of softening old bruises. Today, a clean, all-original YZ490, especially with its stock pipe, can bring $3,500 to $5,000.
Add a 1 in front of those numbers.
Relic from when brute force was still a design philosophy. 1982 Honda CR480R. By the early 80s, the arms race in motocross was in full swing. Yamaha had the Ping King, Suzuki had the Widowmaker, and Honda wasn't about to sit on the sidelines. They wanted a piece of the 500cc glory. something that could prove Big Red could brawl with the wild ones.
Oh, they figured
That
it
something
out.
was the CR480R, a 472 cubic centimeter.
What the hell is that? 1, 2, that's a sport bike motor. Why can't you guys put the right motor in the picture?
Stroke monster pushing roughly 52 horsepower through a thin steel frame.
And the
a set of
CR500
show-up
was even
forks.
worse, and it went up
It looked
through the
light,
90s.
fast, and purposeful. It was all of those, right up until you landed from your first jump. The frame flexed, bent, and sometimes cracked clean through. Power delivery was vicious, too much too soon, with zero traction to save.
That would be why this is considered the most dangerous, because of the frame weakness. Okay, let's see if they say anything about the CR500, but this, the 480 with the frame weakness, that would make a lot of sense on why this would be on the dangerous. Because I've welded frames, I've fixed frames, I've seen a lot of broken frames, and yeah, these bikes, some of these bikes are notorious for busting.
Riders joked it felt like riding a stick of dynamite on wheels, and they weren't exaggerating.
No?
The bike didn't just demand skill, it demanded courage. Magazines called it raw and heartless, while a few
I don't know if I'd call it courage. I'd call it big balls and no brains. Lots of skill.
thrill seekers fell in love with its savage honesty.
There's another one with the sprocket and the brake on the same side. Oh, Honda was bad about going backwards. The first gen 250R three-wheeler was backwards too.
The CR480R was fast, flawed, and unforgettable. A stepping stone to the far better CR500R that followed. Today, collectors chase it not for perfection, but for heritage.
Oh yeah.
A properly restored CR480R, paint-matched, Showa suspension intact, can fetch between $5,000 and $7,000. A loud red monument to Honda's first misstep on the path to greatness.
This was only made a couple of years, so it's a lot more valuable than that nowadays.
1985 KTM 500MX. If Honda's CR480R was wild, KTM's answer was downright feral.
Yes.
By the mid-80s, Europe didn't want to just catch up to Japan. It wanted to outmuscle it. And nobody leaned into that mission harder than the folks in Mattighofen. Their idea of progress? Build the most powerful motocross bike in Europe and let the braves sort themselves out. The KTM 500MX was the result.
Yeah?
A 495 cubic centimeter two-stroke hammer putting out well over 60 horsepower, running a 4-speed gearbox and W suspension.
WP.
It looked mean, sounded meaner, and rode like it had something to prove.
It did.
But that power came with baggage. A huge delay off idle, followed by a violent surge that hit like a truck. The chassis twisted on landing. The clutch wore out fast. And starting it could test a man's religion. One racer summed it up perfectly. Every lap felt like surviving a war. The bike was brutally fast, but too quick to be fun, as one European MX magazine put it. Still, its legend stuck. KTM learned from the chaos, moving toward balance, traction, and control in the years ahead. Today, the 500 Mexican pesos is a unicorn, rare, raw, and respected. A clean, original survivor can command $9,000 to $12,000. Proof that even monsters grow more valuable with age.
KTM was never big in the 80s. They were last in all the shootouts. But man, the power that they produced was always insane. It just sucked that they couldn't get it to the ground and they couldn't get it to act right. Like I said, a hard delay off idle, that's bad. And when you're playing with a 500cc bike and it's got a delay off idle and it just takes off like a rocket, oh no, that's yeah, hold on and pray to God nothing bad happens. Oh boy.
1990, Kawasaki KX500. By 1990, the dirt...
Now, I played with one of these in a Takati 3 three-wheeler. Old Marcus has one, and Yeah, these are gnarly. What do they have bad to say about it besides it's just a mean machine?
Wars had hit their boiling point. Honda had the mighty CR500R, fast, fierce, and surprisingly refined. KTM had just unleashed a beast that blurred the line between bravery and insanity. Kawasaki's answer? Build something that could blow both of them off the line. Literally. The KX500 wasn't just another 500cc two-stroke. It was a 499 cubic centimeter cannon.
That's a fuel-injected Yamaha motor. It's not a CR500. Okay.
Churning out around 63 horsepower, hung on a steel frame with unitrack suspension, and
Kawasaki has always been known for top-notch suspension. So you put a massive powerhouse 500cc two-stroke in a Kawasaki chassis and the Kawasaki suspension. Oh my God, it is a beautiful match.
beefy Kayaba forks. On paper, it was unstoppable. In reality, it was unmanageable. The power band hit like a sledgehammer, instant, violent, and impossible to predict. The frame flexed, the front wheel clawed for the sky, and more than a few bikes suffered piston seizures thanks to poor cooling.
Ooh.
One rider joked,
Very interesting. Not know that. Okay. There's Kawasaki's not known for making the best decisions. They had some serious flywheel issues in the middle 80s. So, okay, yeah, I can see cooling issues. Very, very interesting.
you crack the throttle and the front wheel just disappears. Ordinary trail riders called it terrifying. But out in the desert, where power ruled and traction was optional, the KX500 found its kingdom.
Oh, yeah.
Baja racers worshipped it. Big torque, endless grunt, and speed that could leave everything else in the dust.
Absolutely.
Kawasaki fixed most of its sins by 1992, and the legend was sealed.
Cool.
Early models are now prized trophies.
Yes.
Expect $7,000 to $10,000 for a clean one, and as much as $15,000 for a genuine Baja spec machine. 1995 ATK 605.
What?
After years of watching Japan dominate and Europe roar back to life, America still had one last card to play. If Kawasaki's Green Grenade ruled the desert, maybe a homegrown brand could bring back.
ATK has always had weird designs. This is like the Cannondale motors with the side load transmission and everything and side monoshock and ATK. I don't know what those engineers were thinking when they designed these. It's 1,000,000% WTF. I don't understand what they were thinking when they designed these bikes. I've ridden an ATK 490. I can only imagine how horrible this 605 four-stroke.
The red, white, and blue spirit of true
Ew.
made in USA dirt bikes.
Ew!
That was the dream behind the ATK 605. Bold, stubborn, and a little bit old-fashioned from
Ew.
day one. Built around a 598 cubic centimeter Rotax four-stroke, the 605 packed a steel frame, monoshock suspension, and dual disc brakes. On paper, it sounded like a serious dual sport contender. But reality had other plans.
Ew!
At nearly 300 pounds, it was too heavy for serious off-road use.
Yeah.
It shook like a paint mixer, its wiring was temperamental, and the clutch often gave up before the rider did. One owner described it best: like riding a World War II Army bike that somehow learned to growl. In an era chasing lighter, sleeker, and more refined machines,
Why?
the ATK felt like a throwback nobody asked for. The press
Are the engineers not paying attention when they design these things? If you're going to design something to compete, you need to design something that is equivalent to the top bikes. You can't design something that's 100, 200 pounds heavier, slower, bulkier. You take their technology and use it against them. You don't try and reinvent the wheel and come up with something stupid that's just an embarrassment.
Called it old school in a new age world. And within a few years, ATK faded from the mainstream. Today, that stubborn little 605
You make poor decisions, the public will put you out of business. Pretty simple.
has become a nostalgic oddity, rare, proudly American, and built like a tank. Clean examples with their original Utah decals can still pull $4,000 to $6,000, proof that even failure can age into charm. 2001, Cannondale MX400. By the mid-1990s, ATK's dream
I didn't realize Cannondale made dirt bikes. I've got 3 Cannondale quads in the shop, but I didn't. Oh my God. Oh my God, no. No, what is. It's the same thing as the quad setup. Almost. What is it?
of an all-American dirt bike had faded into nostalgia. But a new name stepped up, one nobody expected.
Yeah. Wraparound outside mainframe, bolt off, drop off cradle that takes the motor out. Same motor that's in the quads. Same design. Oh my God.
Famous for high-end mountain bikes, decided to storm into the motocross world. Their goal? To build the most advanced American dirt bike ever made.
It was
and for
advanced.
a moment, it looked like they just might pull it off.
It was advanced.
The MX400 was radical. A 432 cubic centimeter four-stroke with electronic fuel injection, a reversed aluminum frame, and a 5-speed gearbox.
They
No
mentioned the quad.
carburetors, no compromises, and no safety net. It was light years ahead of its time.
Yes.
And that was exactly the problem. The EFI system glitched constantly. The engine overheated, oil leaked from everywhere, and the ECU had a habit of dying mid-race.
That's
Riders
not good.
told horror stories. It just shut off mid-lap, no reason, no warning. What should have been a revolution turned into a repair bill. The press called it a technological disaster.
Yeah.
And by 2003, the project bankrupted Cannondale completely. Yet, in hindsight, it was the first brave step toward the EFI revolution
It was.
every dirt bike uses today.
And the quads. And the quads. This, it's sad because they had a turn-in policy too, where some of the flaws that were in the motors they found fixes for, and if you brought it back, they'd give you something new, which was also what ran them into the ground. Because the quads had a lot of problems too, and they, oh yeah, make bad decisions, and again, follow what works, don't redesign the wheel.
Collectors now hunt the MX400 not for performance, but for legend. A rare original, especially an early serial model, can fetch $6,000 to $8,000.
Wow.
Proof that even failure can be ahead
That's
of its
a
time.
lot more than the quads.
2003, Husaberg FE650.
Ooh.
After Cannondale's high-tech meltdown, the dirt world swung back toward brute strength, and no one did brute better than the Austrians. By 2003, Husaberg, then a small but fiery offshoot of KTM, decided to build the biggest,
Oh.
boldest, and
I didn't realize they were an offshoot of KTM. I thought they were their own entity. Oh, man. Okay. Yeah, these things were gnarly, too. I haven't seen very many in the U.S., but I know they're all over Europe.
thumper anyone had ever seen. A bike that could flatten mountains and humble its rider in the same breath. That beast was the FE650, a 644 cubic centimeter four-stroke, pumping out around 55 horsepower, oil-cooled, kickstart only, with all the attitude of a runaway tractor. On paper, it promised unstoppable torque and simple engineering.
Little surprised it was only kickstart. Surprised that they didn't have an electric start model, because these guys were notorious for being ahead of the times and putting electric starts on stuff. Okay, that engineer dropped the ball.
On the trail, it was a sauna on wheels. It ran hot, drank oil like a Harley, and shook so violently your vision blurred.
That's not
Its
good.
gearing was short, its clutch stiff, and starting it cold could take the patience of a saint. One rider nailed it. It had personality and a grudge. Fast riders admired its raw punch, but most called it outdated, even by early 2000s standards. Still, the FE650 bridged eras, the last of the wild mechanical enduros before EFI and electric start tamed the breed. Today, it's earning quiet respect as a vintage powerhouse, loved by collectors who miss
Look at
that
that
untamed.
motor! What the hell is that? That's just a barrel all the way. Oh my God. Oh my, wow, that's incredible. That's just, I want to see one of these in person. Holy cow.
Feel. Clean examples now trade around $4,000 to $6,000.
That's cheap.
And prices are inching upward as nostalgia kicks in. 2009 BMW G450X. By
What
the
the
late 2000s, even the wild old guard
BMW made a 450? What the, what?
learning restraint. KTM had mastered balance.
What
Husaberg
the hell
had
is that
burned itself out.
kickstand? Doing.
And now the unlikeliest name of all stepped into the dirt. BMW. The company known for luxury touring bikes and Autobahn manners wanted a slice
BMW's got Baja bikes also, but yeah, 450 what?
of the enduro world. Their target was clear. Beat KTM at its own game. The result was the G450X, a 449 cubic centimeter four-stroke with electronic fuel injection, a direct drive countershaft, and that trademark BMW aluminum frame. It was bold, clever, and utterly German. Engineered to the millimeter.
Direct drive countershaft? Aren't they all? I input shaft that the clutch basket's on goes to the output shaft that the sprocket's on. I mean, it's crank, clutch basket, output. 1, 2, 3, done. That way the output shaft and the crank spin the same direction. Okay.
But missing one critical ingredient.
If you know what, if I'm, let me know if I'm missing something, because that's really like a mute point.
Soul. The high center of gravity made it twitchy. The throttle-by-wire system glitched like bad software, and maintenance felt like open-heart surgery. Riders
That's
called
BMW.
it a smart bike with no heartbeat. BMW hoped it would revolutionize enduro racing. Instead, it fell flat.
Yep.
Dealers couldn't move them.
Nope.
Racers wouldn't touch them.
Yep.
And within 2 years, production quietly ended. But the G450X wasn't wasted effort. Its design DNA later found new life when BMW acquired Husqvarna, refining the same concepts that once failed. Today,
BMW acquired Husqvarna. KTM, Husqvarna, and Gas are all one. BMW doesn't have anything to do with KTM or any of them. Actually, this past year, KTM went so broke, they were bought out by a Middle Eastern company. So there's that. When did BMW own Husqvarna?
G450X stands as a rare curiosity. Over-engineered, underloved, and slowly finding redemption among collectors. Expect to pay $5,000 to $7,000, with pristine low-mile bikes touching $9,000. Here's the truth older riders know in their bones. Even the flops leave footprints.
Oh, yeah.
The TM400 taught a hard lesson about power without control.
Yep.
The Cannondale MX400 for all its sins, pioneered EFI long before the herd caught up.
Yep.
And Honda's CR480R, brutal but unforgettable, paved the way for the CR500R that finally got the formula right.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
Each so-called nightmare is a tile in the long road of off-road evolution. Without the mistakes, we'd never get the miracles. That's how progress works in the dirt. Scars first, wisdom after.
I am a little surprised they didn't bring up Mako, Can-Am, Cagiva, just to name a couple of other ones that Mako had a lot of problems. Mako had some serious issues. Can-Am really didn't have a lot of issues that I can think of. And Cagiva, I don't think, had a lot of issues either. I don't know whatever happened to Cagiva. So some of these brands, if you know what happened to them, let me know down in the comments below. I really appreciate everybody sticking around through this. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great day.